Hey there, sitting on the other side of this video. Hi, this is Darshan Jain and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. As you are here to learn concepts of machine learning and data science, so in that process, today we will be dealing with a classification problem, that is personal loan prediction. This problem is a very basic problem statement. This is a very easy data set that we have chosen, and we have done this precisely so that we can understand the concept of baseline. So now what do we mean by baseline? To know about it, watch the video till end. Now to solve any machine learning problem, I will help you with few steps which you can follow, and following those steps you will be easily able to train the model and generate your predictions. So let's get started. So the step 1 says that we need to understand the problem statement and then determine the type of it. So we will break this into two halves, that is understand the problem statement and then determine the type of it. In order to understand the problem statement, let me quickly show you the data set. So I'll be providing the link to this data set in the description below. So this is my data set, that is the personal loan prediction, and here we have got banking data set. So we have to take this data set, we have to train it such that it will predict whether an individual will apply for a loan or no. For understanding this problem statement in depth, I would recommend you all to read these 3 paragraphs given here. Now considering the second half of the step 1, that is to determine the type of the problem statement. Now by type I mean that whether this problem statement is of type classification or type regression. Since the number of outcomes are fixed, predefined and discrete, we can say that this problem statement is of type classification. If you want to know in depth about how to differentiate a problem statement into type classification or regression, you can find a link to the video in the description below. Now moving ahead, the step 2 is to read the data file and to describe the number of rows and columns and the details about the data set that is given here. So to do that, you can create a new notebook from this tab given here. I've already created one. So as you all know that this first block of the code is predefined given by Kaggle. So let me run it, and I will use this path to read the data file that is given here. I am using pandas.read_csv function, and this will give me the data set in this variable, that is data_master. So let me run this block of code. Now to see number of rows and columns given in this data set, we can run this command, that is data_master.shape. So when we do that, it says that there are 5000 number of rows and 14 different columns or 14 features given in this data set. Now let us understand and see how we can view first 2 rows of the data set. To do that, we have to write data frame.head, and to view number of rows we have to write the number of rows that we want to see, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, or how many we want to watch. So when we run this thing, we can see that first 2 rows of the data is given, and this is the column that we have to predict, that is personal loan, and the values given in the first 2 rows is 0, 0 here. Now there's one very important function that we must use to understand more about the data set, that is dataframe.describe. When I run this code, what I can see here is for a given feature, I can see the minimum value, that is for age feature the minimum value is 23 as it says here, the max value, that is 67 in case of age. Then we can see standard deviation, mean, number of values in it. That's how this describe function gives us the in-depth detail of the data frame. Now the most important function that will give us the brief about how we can move ahead is this function, that is dataframe.info function. So when I run this function, it says that there are 5000 rows of data. It has got 14 features, that is starting from 0 to 13. And it also says that there are 5000 non-null entries, that is all the data is filled for almost for all the features. And also I can see the data type of the features, that is all the features are of type integer and only one of them is of type float. So now we have successfully done the step number 2. Moving ahead, the step number 3 says that now this step number 3 and step number 4 are the thumb rules that we have to make sure that we satisfy thumb rules every time. So the first thumb rule, that is step number 3, says that check whether null values exist in the dataset or no. We can get this information from the dataframe.info function that we have used. So if you view the non-nulls count column of the output of this function, you can see that all the 5000 entries for individual features is filled. That is, there is no null present in any of the feature values. So we can say that thumb rule first, that is step number 3, is satisfied. Moving ahead, now the step number 4 or thumb rule number 2 is to be satisfied. It says that we have to check for the data types of all the features. We can get this information from the same function, that is dataframe.info. If you view this column, that is data type, it says that all the features are in the given format, that is integer or float. So now we can say that both the thumb rules, that is no nulls and all the data in the numeric format, is satisfied. Moving ahead, the idea of baseline. Now, as I've explained at the start of the video that I'll be teaching you this concept. So baseline is something that is the minimum concept or programming knowledge required to run a standard machine learning problem and to generate predictions out of it. So if you consider this particular data sets, we didn't do any kind of data pre-processing. We also didn't fill up the nulls because all the nulls were already filled. We also didn't do any label encoding or one-hot encoding for converting the columns with object type data type into integer or float types. So such baseline concepts helps you to understand machine learning and data science, and once you move ahead, once you start gaining knowledge about different concepts, you can increase your level of problem statements and you can try complex problem statements. So even that we will do in the coming videos. Moving ahead, step number 5, that is you need to select your X and Y's, that is features and labels. So as you know that we have a feature called as ID here, which has got no relevance to the output that we will be predicting. So it is better to drop that feature here. So to do that, we will run this block of code where we are using a function called as drop, and we are passing the feature name which has to be dropped. So let me run it quickly here. Now as we are separating our X and Y's, so Y is something that we will be predicting and X is something that we will be using to train our model. So as we know that we are predicting personal loan, so we will move that column to the Y and we will keep remaining all the things to X. So to do that, let us first take the entire data set excepting the personal loan column. So we will take all the features from data frame except personal loan, and we are not dropping it in place equal to true. That is, from this data frame we will fetch all the features except personal loan, and here in Y we will fetch the personal loan column. So when I run this part of code, I have my X and Y's ready, and to view it once for our knowledge, let us see what do we see in the x.info. So I can see here that the ID column is firstly dropped, and secondly the personal loan column is also not present here. So we have our X in the required format. Now the next step is to understand that how we will train the model. So before training, there is one intermediate step that is required. That is, we need to divide the data frame into some parts such that a small chunk of the data will be used for training the model and the remaining part of the data will be used to test the model and see how accurate the training has been done. So to do that, there is a function called as train_test_split. I'll show you how I've got the implementation of this. So you just have to type train test split and sklearn, and when you do that, you have to follow the first code that you get it here from the sklearn documentation. You have to come down and copy the code from here. So I've already done that for you, and when I run this part of the code, I will get my X train and Y train. So one important thing that you have to notice here is that the test size is 0.3, that is 30%. So out of this 5000 rows of data sets, 3500 rows will be used to train the data set, and 30%, that is 1500 rows, will be used to test the data set. In this classification based problem statement, we will be using 3 different types of models, that is Gaussian naive Bayes, k nearest neighbor and logistic regression. I'll show you how to prepare code for Gaussian naive Bayes, and similarly you have to follow the code that I have given for KNN, that is K nearest neighbor, and the logistic regression. At the end we will compare the scores of the three models. That by scores I mean that how accurate our model has predicted the values. So let me quickly show you how to write down the code for Gaussian naive Bayes classifier. So to do that, open a new tab, type Gaussian naive Bayes sklearn. You have to go on to the first link. It will take you to the Gaussian naive Bayes sklearn documentation page, and then from here you have to start copying the code. So firstly we will be importing the library, and then we will create a classifier here. So we will name classifier as classifier Gaussian naive Bayes, and then we will follow the steps given here. So we will fit the classifier. So let me change the name, and then we need to do the predictions. So I'll copy this code from here. So prediction is like ypred Gaussian naive Bayes, and we need to give the same name of the classifier that we have given here. Also this x and y has to be changed, so it should be, yes, you guessed it correctly, x train and y train. Now you must be getting some confusions like what and why am I writing such code. So to understand these things, let me go in depth about how the internal working happens here. So to understand this thing, let us consider one example. So consider this block of code, that is CLF_JNB, that is Gaussian naive Bayes. So it's a variable in terms of programming language, but in our language let us consider it as an empty brain. So empty brain will understand nothing, and now we want this empty brain to predict things for us. But to predict things we must give him some knowledge, like give some rules to it. So to give those rules we will decide a classifier, and in our case we are telling the empty brain to do the learnings given in the Gaussian NB, that is Gaussian naive Bayes classifier. So now this brain has got the rules on which it will be doing the processing ahead. So in the next step, as you can see here, we are using a function called as fit. So what this function does here is, with the brain it will give the data, that is x and y, and this brain will understand the data given here, and it will train on its own. And now this brain has got the knowledge as well. So we will use the knowledge to predict the values for the X test data set. So that is done by a function called as predict, and we will save the outcomes of this predicted data set in the ypred variable. Now using this classifier we will find out the score. So by score I mean that how accurately our model has trained and predicted the values. So to do that we will find out separate scores for X train and separate scores for X test. So let me show the output by running this block of code here. So we can see that the train and test score is 88 and 87% respectively. Let us do same thing for K nearest neighbor and logistic regression as well. I would recommend you to not copy the code from here, but to write it down on your own from the sklearn documentation. I have written it here before so that it saves our time. So if I run this block of code, I can see that my accuracy for train is 94% and accuracy for test is 89%. And in the similar fashion, let me do it for logistic regression as well. So I can see here that the output score is very high with logistic regression. So we can say that for this particular problem statement, logistic regression is giving the best outcome. I hope this baseline concept is clear to you all. In support of this, we will be doing one more problem statement where the same steps will be taught once again to you with the same thing that we have done in this video. I recommend you to watch that video as well, because by doing this you will be easily able to do basic things with machine learning and data science. And we will do two more problem statements with regression type as well. So stay connected with this YouTube channel, and if you haven't subscribed to it, please do it and press the bell icon for the notifications. Thank you so much.